Today on Let's Talk Crimes, Frank is going to tell us what we should do when a friend or even a loved one calls us from jail needing our help.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do.
So, Frank, what should we do?
You know, it sounds like a simple question, but it's really not that simple. Anyway, first of all, welcome as always to Let's Talk Crimes with Frank. And what do you do when they call you? Dad, Mom, I just got arrested. Well, I'll tell you the first thing you do, emotions fly high for both ends of the phone. The person being arrested and the person getting the call. And it's one of those things that we really don't think about. We don't sit around thinking, well, my son or my dad may get arrested. What do I do? And I see it all the time. Sometimes they call you, they know somebody got arrested, and they have zero information because they lost that phone call. They didn't take advantage of it. So I think that if you give it some thought, you don't have to freak out and think all the time somebody's getting arrested. But just try to remember this program. The first thing you do when you get that phone call, you have to understand that the person's going to be on the phone for maybe 2-3 minutes max. There's probably a lot of people behind them. Officers are going to shut down the phone, and his emotions are high. So you got to be the one doing the thinking. First thing you need to know is, what jail are you in? Dad, I got arrested. What jail are you in? The rest of the conversation can happen later on. Once you know what jail he's in, the next question is, do you have a bond? How do I get you out? Do you have a bond? And once, hopefully, if the answer is yes, the third question is, what is your inmate or jail number? So just try to remember this. And it's not a quiz, but just remember, what jail are you in? Do you have a bond? And what is your jail number? You had a question.
So, if I'm the one that received the call, should I start thinking about getting an attorney or bail bondsman, or what do I do after?
At this first step, once you get the answer to those three questions, almost always, with some few exceptions, the answer is, yes, I have a bond. You really need a bondsman at that time. I'm an attorney, and attorneys would like to tell you get an attorney right away. But the truth is that in that very first phase, you need a bondsman because you need to get him or her out of jail. The other benefit of a bondsman is that the bondsman wants to place the bond because that's how he makes money. And he's going to do all the finding outs for you. He's going to call the jail. He's going to find out the amount of the bond. And he's really going to do a lot of legwork. So my answer is, you don't need an attorney right now. You need to find yourself a bondsman. Now, when I say why jail, why is that so important? Many times we get calls from a mom or a dad that their son got arrested, and everybody assumes that your family member got arrested in the county that you live in. And maybe just to use Dade County and Broward County as an example, since that's our counties. I may assume it's Dade County, and then after 5 hours of not finding him, I realize it's Broward County. So it should come out natural. What jail are you in?
Right.
And what bond? And call a bondsman, and he's going to do most of the work for you.
Well, so then, at what point would you need an attorney? And what if it's in the feds as well too?
As to, you're going to need an attorney after you get him out. I mean, most times if you can choose to not use an attorney, and of course you get a public defender.
Yeah.
But the finding an attorney part really comes once you get them out. Then you sit down and you do your finding out. You do your web search. You try to get referrals. Sometimes people call their attorneys in other areas. If you have a real estate attorney, you'll call a real estate attorney.
Yeah.
And many times these other attorneys will be able to refer a criminal defense attorney. That happens later. You can look him up in the computer right away while the bondsman is doing his work. Just do this. When you look him up in the computer or her, at the beginning, you're not going to find him in the clerk's office website. You're going to find him in the county jail website because he hasn't made it to the clerk's office. So just remember, if you're going to plug it in, you could do inmate search. Most county jail sites will have an inmate search. And that's how you try to find them. Those are crucial questions. Don't lose the phone call because you may hang up and you realize that you still know nothing about what
You
happened.
didn't get any useful information.
You didn't get any. Now, let me answer your question about the feds. The feds are a little similar, but not exactly the same. In the federal system, you're almost always never going to have a bond. They're going to call you that they got arrested. They might even call you from the FBI or DEA or the entity's headquarters before they're transported. And they may give you more information. Sometimes an agent will actually speak to you and tell you, ma'am, he just got arrested. He's going to be going to the preliminary or first appearance at 9 a.m. or 1:30 p.m. For the feds, you're usually not going to have a bond. You're going to have to hang up that phone. And in the feds, my answer would be a little different. You would, if you can afford one, it would be best if you try to find an attorney within the time you got the phone call to the time he goes to that first appearance, because there's going to be a bond hearing there. Federal system is a little different. Now, my suggestion, and this is just my suggestion, when you get that attorney that you only have a few hours, try to not hire him or her permanently, because it's just too soon, I think, for you to make a decision like that as to who's going to be the attorney for the rest of the case. Try to see if you can hire a temporary representation for the purpose of initial appearance, bond hearing, and the first step.
Okay. And any other recommendations you'd like to?
Those are it. Honestly, do not lose that first phone call. Getting arrested is really it's emotional for everybody. The person that calls you from the jail wants to tell you many things about how it happened and about the facts. Those things are really not important. The other thing that I do want to tell you, and this is almost goes for every jurisdiction in the nation, but I can tell you it goes for Florida. Jail phone calls are being recorded. An inmate has no expectation of privacy. If you saw my last episode on expectation of privacy and search and seizures, they are being recorded. And I can tell you firsthand that many, many times when the case goes on a month later and we're getting ready for trial, prosecutors will get those phone calls, and many times information that was discussed between the defendant and family members in those first phone calls are used against them. So think about that. Everything that you're speaking about is being recorded. Whether they're going to go back and look for the recordings or not, that remains to be seen, but many times they do. I hope that you enjoyed this. It seems like a simple topic. I thought I'd make an episode on it. People ask me all the time, or they come to us and we realize that they just don't have enough information. Always feel free to email us at letstalkcrimes@gmail.com. Have a great day. Do not get arrested.
What you gonna do when they come for